Yo, hello guys, welcome to another episode of BMF Combat Talk Show. I'm your boy, your host, Uncle P. Yes guys, you also the heading below. I am bringing you guys EFC 100. What a stacked card. Guys, I've been looking at this card the whole day, trying to make sense out of it, because on every single platform of EFC, things are looking different. So it's like, what the hell is going on? What am I looking at? Who's fighting who? Which fight is in which in which position. So I was trying to figure all that out. But we know that the main card of this fight was supposed, and I'm saying supposed to because I just saw an article that this fight has been cancelled. So it's supposed to be Luke Michael versus Trezor Upanga. Now, guys, honest truth, I actually didn't think this fight was going to happen. Man, I understand injuries happen in the sport and everything else, but taking that double caution when it comes to, especially when you're a champion. But look, I don't want to say much about this because I don't want people coming at me and be like, yada, yada, yada. Luke Michael and I actually do chat. He's a very good guy. I know he was looking forward to fighting this fight. I know Trezor Upanga also, he is who he is. And he was definitely trying to obviously, come back and make a statement. I don't think this is fair, especially with the fact that the fight is not that far along. I understand there's still enough time for them to find an opponent for Trezor Upanga and possibly make this an interim title. The middleweight division is currently stacked, and it was on the last EFC. I believe it was. The fight between Kaleka Kabamba versus JT Botha. I think Kaleka Kabanda is a very good opponent, and I think it's enough time for him to actually make the weight, and I think the guy will definitely take the fight for the EFC to be able to obviously make a possible interim fight against these two individuals. I think that's the way to go about it, than to just waste, obviously, Trezor Upanga's time on this fight camp and make him wait until obviously the new year, which is possible until February, March before, and that's only if Luke Michael is even healed, and if he's healed, he needs to get back to training. Putting the title into a hold for that long, I don't think is fair enough. I think Trezor Upanga deserves this rematch, and he deserves to compete for a belt. So I think an interim belt makes a lot of sense for this fight. Then we've got Zulu Boy versus Wembe. Now, guys, give me a second here. It's very tricky. The UFC has posters for certain fights, then doesn't have posters for specific fights. I've been looking everywhere. It's quite a mess. But for what I have, let's go to the actual fight card. So one of the things that is confusing me also on this is the fact that there is no two fights here, but I know that Nerik Simos has been confirmed on this fight card. So Wembe versus Zulu. The website, I don't know what's happening. The pictures are supposed to be coming up, but it's not coming out. Wembe running a 4-streak fight, winning streak, and currently the bantamweight champion. Obviously, we all know Kazumundo Zulu is a veteran in the EFC. The one thing that I'm honestly going to say, I am tired of seeing Zulu Boy fighting for this title. It's almost like Zulu Boy is depleting the more he fights. Instead of becoming better, he's actually becoming a worse fighter, because some of the fights that he's losing are fights that he should have easily won. He is one of the greatest strikers. Dana White even said that. I'm not too excited about this fight. I think it's going to be a killer of a fight. It's going to be an amazing stand-up fight. I don't see why the champion shouldn't retain his title with, the recent performances that Zulu Boy has had in his fight. So, yeah, man. So I'm going towards the champion of this one here, and I think the champion's going to come and impose his will and probably just have more heart and more drive to want to take this. And then we have Cole Henning. I'm running this straight from the website. The one thing that confused me, why would you make an interim title co-main event rather than title fight? So this was a bit weird. I think a champion should be given the respect that they deserve, and they should have had Wembley versus Zulu as the co-main event rather than Cole Henning versus Mikishi. Now, this is the wrong Mikishi. The website has made a mistake and they've placed the wrong Mikishi here. So this fight record is not his. This is actually for the heavyweight Mikishi, who was only at one fight and lost it. This fight here, the last time I checked, I was actually surprised. I thought Mikishi and Cole Henning were both from the same team, which is Brothers in Arms. So I'm assuming something must have happened there. Doing a little bit of research, I found that Cole Henning actually left in order to take this title fight. Well, we've seen how this usually works out. The person that usually leaves, being greedy to become a champion, ends up getting their ass smacked. But in this case, guys, I'm gonna have to give it to Cole Henning. I just think Cole Henning is just way more experienced. He's an all-round fighter. He's hard, and the fact that they're coming from the same gym and they know each other, I think Cole Henning was gonna have that upper hand purely because of the experience that he has in the cage. And man, dude is just hard, and he can grapple on top of that. And I believe he was actually their grappling coach. So I'm very much leaning towards Cole Henning on this fight here. If I'm a betting person, this is definitely I will be betting for Cole Henning. Now, obviously, the fight is not yet being put on the website, but we know that. Well, I'm assuming that Nerik Simos will be opening the main card of EFC 100. This is Nerik Simos versus Kayambala. Now, guys, one of the things I want to do is I want to break every single fight detail by detail. But I feel like I'll be giving away a lot of secrets of each fighter and how they can win it. But hey, man, whoever takes my advice takes it and ends up winning. So who do I have in this fight? I think this fight is going to be a very interesting fight. It all depends on the gameplay that each and every single individual brings in this game. We know that Nerik Simos is an all-rounder MMA fighter, and he can take the fight both on the ground and on the stand-up. But Kayambala is a strong judoka and is physically strong and is proven to have that knockout power. The issue is his gas tank, and that is going to play a big role when he fights Nerik. And Kayambala has this karate stunt where he presents his front leg very easily. And yeah, man, who knows what could happen if Nerik Simos decides to show up in there and keep this fight standing, and then utilize his grappling in the later stages to see how it works in. Now, if I had to choose anybody on this fight, look, it all depends on how either fighter comes. If Nerik Simos comes, he bites his gun guard, he's definitely and survives that first round and takes him to the second. I think Kayambala will be too exhausted and he usually loses power and becomes extremely reckless. And Nerik Simos has proven that he can compose himself when it's needed. And this could be a fight that takes him back into the title contention, because I know that Iggy Kabese is relinquishing the title, and Swanepoel wants to get back there, especially with the way he lost. So he's going to want to clean out whoever he needs to clean out in order to get that title contention. I can already smell Graham Cartman sitting there trying to make Nerik Simos versus Swanepoel, Bradley Swanepoel, for the next featherweight title, since Iggy Kabese is relinquishing the title. So for Nerik, this is a must-win. A very good friend of mine. I also know Kayambala. So if I was a betting person and I needed to lean on this purely on experience, composure, and everything else, I think Nerik might just take this. This might end in a submission or in a 3-round war where Nerik takes it by majority decision. So this should be a very interesting fight, guys. Don't blink on this one. All right, so guys, from here on, I'm gonna just keep switching different fights purely because some of the fights aren't there. We've got Oosthuizen, Billy Oosthuizen versus De La Rey. Ah man, EFC fixture website, man, the pictures ain't coming out. There is no poster for this fight, so I can't put a bigger picture up there. But this fight here, guys, is going to be a dog fight. Now, how do I think this fight plays out? Well, De La Rey can take a lot of hits, and we know that Billy Oosthuizen's got that knockout power. He's physically strong. He can scramble. He can give 1 or 2 on the ground. I'm not sure which team he's training out of right now, but De La Rey's got a lot of heart, eh? I think De La Rey is going to come. He's going to stand in front of Billy, and he's going to give his best, but I'm just worried that Billy might catch him. And I don't think De La Rey has the power the knockout power to take Billy out. So I'm leaning more on Billy Osterson in this fight, although De La Rey is partially the more experienced and has more technique and has more weapons. But I think that that power factor, that knockout power factor, will play a big role. And I think De La Rey, with the way he moves, he might just get caught by Billy, and yeah, man, it might end up in the knockout. And then we've got Kenna versus Dove. I believe Dove is from Cape Town, Diamond of Simonstown. 2-1 versus the Trigger, 5-1. Now we know Rodrigo Kenna has that very strong fighting skill. He just moves forward. He's got that knockout power. That's why they call him the Trigger. When he pulls that hand, like if he connects, you are going down. You know, Rodrigo Kenna is one of those fighters that moves forward and doesn't move back. So I'm expecting him to come forward, be a bit composed, try to understand what game Chris is trying to bring in this fight, and try to just, you know, play the game smart and not rush. If he rushes, he might get caught, taken down. But I think Kenna wins this by TKO or by knockout. He's definitely going to be coming hard. So, like I said, guys, I want to be mixing up some posters that I found with the website so that we are able to obviously, you know, get everything that we need to get out of this. Out of this show. Okay, so what do we have next year? EFC card, but that's fine. This is a fight that got me very excited. Caesar Menekati versus Robert Swanepoel. The reason it's getting me excited is because I feel like Robert Swanepoel has jumped levels way too fast. Caesar Menekati is a very experienced fighter with the stand-up. He moves forward, he hits extremely hard. Training out of CIT now, he's gaining that experience of grappling and just mixing up his whole game. So I think this is going to be a very interesting fight. And obviously, Robert getting his first W in the EFC. I think this is a very unnecessary matchup for him. They should have nurtured the guy, given him a time. So this is, for me personally, this is a stepping stone for Caesar Menekati. If he shows up and he does what he does, there is absolutely no reason why he should lose this fight. But Robert does have a lot of heart. It's not easy to put him out. So if you can't put him out, he's definitely going to keep pushing. But I just don't think Robert hits hard enough or does anything hard enough for Caesar to panic. Caesar has been there with pit bulls. And I think Caesar is going to make this look like a very easy fight, like Robert had no business to be there with him, and he's going to take this win. Yep, that's the direction which I'm swinging. And then we've got P.T. Coxon versus Gelson Souza. Now we know Gelson Souza is coming from a loss. P.T. Coxon, a veteran in the EFC, or should we say someone who's fought a long time in the EFC. He's got both ground and stand-up. But for some reason, when he walks into that hexagon, he just can't put these two things. He's a whole game together. I don't know, man. I don't know how to judge it. He's my former teammate. I personally think he's a really, really good fighter. I've seen him spar. He's got a lot of heart. I mean, we've gone hard against him and he stands his ground. But for something, when he gets into those bright lights, something happens. And bro just can't perform the way he performs in the gym against even tougher opponents. So, man, this is going to be tricky. With Gelson from Brazil coming from a loss, he's obviously going to try to grapple with this fight. You know what? It's always a risk putting your money on PT, right? It's a very big risk. So if you're a betting person, unfortunately, I'll put my money on Gelson. You know, PT just, I don't know. He gets one strong jab, he drops on the floor, doesn't stand up. You never know what's going to happen, man. So I'm putting my money on Souza on this bout. I am very shocked that Vernon Smith is back. I am very shocked, purely because of what he went through on his last fight. I hope the best for him on this one. But I honestly think Vernon loses his fight by TKO. He panics. He kicks that leg. He feels any form of pain, or he gets kicked on that leg. He starts retreating. And JC just comes in and crashes his dreams, man. I think it's going to be a short fight, ends in the first round. JC just is going to be too hard. It's going to bring in the bro, it's going to bring in the mass punches, and the fight ends in the first. And then we've got Terrence versus Martin. Well, Martin, like I said, we all know, is a kickboxer. He's working on his ground, and ground defense is quite good. Terrence, well, I don't know much about him. So purely because I know Martin all the way from amateur times and where he started his career, I am swinging more on Martin's side purely for that reason, because I actually know him as an athlete. Yeah, so that's kind of the direction which I'm swinging, and I think Martin should be able to take this purely because he has the more experience in this fight. Well, guys, I'm gonna keep this short. I don't want to drag it. There are other fights on the fight card, but like I said, there's posters of fights that are not in the fight card. You go to Facebook, there's a different thing. You go on Twitter, there's a different thing. But I just wanted to give you a quick prediction of which direction I think this fight will go and what to expect on this fight. Guys, comment below and let me know which fight do you want me to break down in detail and how I think this athlete should face this fight in order for them to be victorious on the night. Now, simple. You guys comment on any of the fights. Just tell me Robert Swanepoel versus Mekati. Then I will do a 5 to 10 minute breakdown on how each fighter should approach each fight in order for them to actually acquire victory. And I think I actually know this fight is good enough to be able to give the correct advice or the correct prediction or outcome. Guys, I'm your boy Uncle P. This is EFC 100 breakdown and analysis and prediction. Tell me what you guys think below. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, by the way, guys, I apologize for any mess on my studio. I have completely changed it. I want to do a 5-star studio for you guys, completely white for clarity and cleanness. So I had to bring the EFC 100 show. So I had to set up quickly for you guys on this position. But I'll be working on the studio in the next couple of days. So it's going to be looking beautiful and neat. And I do want to start bringing fighters into the studio and other analysis so we can break down the fights for you guys and have very interesting debates, man. I'm excited about it. And yeah, man, I did do a UFC 281 Adesanya versus Pereira, but unfortunately I did play a couple of videos and highlights of the fights here, and the video got flagged for copyright. I'm trying to dispute it because I don't want to re-edit it because it was a really good show in the long run, and because the videos automatically play on the screen, editing it becomes a bit hard because then that means I'm going to have to place something on the screen to hide those videos, and I really don't want to do that. So if they do not remove the copyright infringement, unfortunately, guys, I'll try and do another one, a quick one. I don't think you guys really want one, but if you do want one, let me know in the comments below. I do love doing this show. I do love keep going at growing the page, growing the social media, growing the Twitter pages. Really motivates me. So guys, come on, don't forget, click on that like button, click on the subscribe, follow me on all the social medias. It really does help with the algorithm, and it motivates your brother to bring you guys more content. It is literally 10 minutes to midnight, and I am shooting EFC 100 for you guys. Come on now. If that ain't love, I don't know what love is. Peace, man. I'll see you guys in the next one.